Dr. Nikki Zeigler. I'm so excited to be here today. I'm excited to see what God's going to do. I'm excited about this show. Let's go ahead and tag and share, and tag and share, and tag and share, and tag and share. The CONVO Christian Talk Show is here. Happy Monday. In fact, wait a minute. Happy February. I promise you, it felt like January just kind of flew by. And it really did. And so we're excited. Listen, so many things are happening on the show this month. It's going to be so amazing. We have so many different guests coming through for the month of February. I want you to put in the chat, I'm ready. I know I'm ready. Listen, we're going to be talking with some good people, some good conversations. This is the CONVO. So we have good conversations with like-minded Christians, either in business or they might be in ministry or they might be just chilling. But we're here to be intentional with the talk show. I'm so excited. I'm so excited because, you know, this show is going on its fifth year. I've had the show for 4 years. And I want to thank CTR Media Group for picking the show up. Shout out to Dr. Tina Ramsey for deciding to bring us on the broadcast. You can now catch our broadcast on Roku, Apple TV, Android TV, podcast. We're all over the world, over 300,000 viewers. I want somebody to put in the chat 300,000 views. We have 300,000 views. Did I say that? 140 countries. 140 countries. And guess what, guys? We have a live studio audience. So if you want to come down here on Mondays and hang out with your girl, or if you want to be in the audience, as people, some of your favorite people come on the pink sofa, we would love to have you. I want to talk about some of these announcements that I want to talk about that's headed your way in the incoming months. The first one I want to talk about, let me go to my notes because I want to make sure I cover everything. The first one I just talked about, it's the talk show. It's on Mondays at 7 p.m. I want everybody to say 7 p.m. in the text. Mondays at 7 p.m. Central. Okay. And then I'll be speaking as a panel on Prophetess Lakeisha Phillips conference that's coming up. In fact, she's coming on the show this month to talk about her panel and talk about her show. She had her event. She have Yvonne Capehart, Dr. Yvonne Capehart is coming. Sophia Ruff is coming. I will be there and a host of others. And we're going to talk about dysfunctional. For me, I'll be talking about dysfunctional in business. Y'all know I've had over 60 different businesses, and none of them did not work. No, they didn't. Because the mindset that I had, because I was all about making a dollar bill. But you got to change the way you see things. And you got to start thinking kingdom. And that's what I'll be talking about on her event that's coming up in the month of March. And then I actually got featured this month. It's called She Makes History. I don't know, have you seen that article where I talk about who I am? And it's all about visibility. Y'all know I am a visibility expert. And so I'm always finding opportunities, not just for myself, but even for others to show visibility, because y'all know I'm going to say this. Visibility brings credibility to get you what? Money. And so I'm excited about that. Also, I am so excited as of this past Saturday, Biblical's 90 Days of Biblical Affirmations hit #1 bestseller in 3 categories. Come on. And then #1 new book release in 3 categories as well. And so all of the ladies who was a part of this anthology, one thing we learned is the importance of collaboration. So I'm excited. I hope you guys are sharing this. For those who are part of the anthology, you put this video inside of the group that we're in. Yes, thank you. And also shout out to the Herpreneur Network with these amazing herbambassadors, herpreneurs, and her members. And so we want to talk about that. And then I also want to talk about me being featured in She Wins Society feature story. She Wins Society is an organization that has a following over 170,000 on Instagram. And once again, it's another visibility piece that I was featured in this week. So I'm excited about that. And then also I want to talk about, hey, mind the business God gave you. And so I'll be going on a 7-city tour to some places that maybe where you live. I'm kicking it off in Montgomery. Then we're headed to Charlotte. We're going to Virginia. We're going to Atlanta. We're going to Washington State. We're going to Dallas, Houston, Texas, and Virginia. Mind the business God gave you. And I'm bringing some good girlfriends with me to help you mind your business, right? And so the purpose of this tour is to help you, for those who are coaches, if you are speakers, if you are business owners, if you're an apostle, bishop, if you are a pastor, evangelist, and you really want to lay out your foundation for your business, right? I want to be able to help you to come up with your prices, come up with your mission statement, come up with your layout of your business. I'm also going to help you with some CRMs. We're going to talk about the mindset. We're going to talk about the money. We're going to talk about the ministry. And we're going to talk about the marketplace. Because if you don't know how to navigate the marketplace, how are you going to be intentional in business? And so I'm excited. Enough of these announcements. I hope I've said something to help you. I also want to go ahead and talk about the books that I have available. One of my books, and you should get this book on my website, Dr.NikkiZeigler.com. It's called Coach Like a Boss. And this book is for those who've been coaching. And you know you're the person where everybody go to, right? But you might be charging like $50, $25. You might even be charging nothing. And so this particular book will help you to decide how you're going to lay out your program. And then I have another book called Get Visible Like a Boss. It helps you to get more visible in what God has given you. Get Visible Like a Boss is the ultimate branding book for entrepreneurs who really need to know what God is doing. And then you guys have seen this before. The Get Visible Like a Boss also comes with a workbook planner called The Visibility. Okay, you need these books in your house, in your business. The last one I want to talk about is called The Ultimate Christian Planner. I have these in 7 different colors. You have seen them at Sarah J's Women Evolve. You've seen them at Bishop T.D. Jakes conferences. You even see them at the Potter's House bookstore. They're there right now. Go get your copy on my website. Listen, it's a new season. This is your ultimate accountability planner that we have. And I have everything in there, from how to market yourself, how to start your business, how to do your mission statement, your business dedication, what scripture do you have backing up your business, your operational piece. All this is inside this planner. And I promise you guys, it will help change your life. And so those are my announcements. I'm super duper excited about being here tonight. Shout out to my major sponsor, Glorified Cosmetics. It's coming in the month of April. Shout out to Chandrika, who is one of my sponsors. She does my makeup every week and make sure I look cute. I actually got on Glorified Cosmetics makeup, and I have on Glorified Cosmetics lipstick. So get your cosmetics. Go ahead and check out Glorified Cosmetics. And then last but not least, don't forget to get the Christian I Speak Her tote bag. It comes in a plethora of colors. And we also got some new colors coming out. We got orange and red and pink. It's a lot of fabulous colors coming out. I also got a blue jean color that's coming out as well. And it's going to be beautiful. I got a pastel pink that's coming out. I got a brown and black one that's coming out. Listen, I Speak Her tote bags. Get your tote bag today. It is a vegan tote bag. So I'm excited. Listen, I'm getting ready to bring up my guests for tonight. Both of them are coming at this time, and we're excited to have them. But we'll be back with a quick commercial. See y'all soon. Hey, this is Dr. Nikki Zeigler. I am back with another guest on the show. Happy to have some amazing people on the sofa Look, they are looking all cute and nervous, y'all. Let's pray over them babies. Okay, to keep us used to being okay. So first of all, let's introduce yourself. Who are y'all? What's up?
I am Renee Hunter. I am the youth director at the church. I love working with kids. I'm a poet at heart. Love to write poetry. So if I think it, it's gonna always be in poetry form.
So she says she's a poetry at heart. Let's go ahead and snatch the edges already. She's a poet. Not at heart. This is who she is.
This is who I am.
So go ahead and get your thoughts because we want to hear something before we leave. Yep. Stay ready so you don't have to get ready.
That part.
Okay.
My name is Takima Rogers. I am the owner of Anointed to Organize, where I'll come into your home, your business, any space that you might have, and organize your life. I also am the assistant to Dr.Nikki Zeigler, which I love my job. And I am in the background running the show when I'm here. So that's a little bit about me.
Okay. So let's go deeper. Okay. Mother, wife.
I am the wife of Jarvis Hunter. Wonderful guy. Wonderful guy. I am a mom of one. She's 25, Mercedes. I am the grandmother of two. I may not look it, but I am. I am a Gigi, and I love every minute of it. I'm also a teacher. Been doing it for over 20 years. So working with kids is definitely my calling. In order to work with kids, it definitely has to be a calling. You have to have the passion for it, and I definitely have the passion for what I do when it comes to kids.
Okay.
I am a mother of two.
Okay.
19 and 16. And I guess, I take care of my parents when I'm at home. I'm a caregiver by heart. I'm a servant by heart. I love to do what I do. When I was younger, I asked God for a servant heart. And that's exactly what he gave me. What I asked for is what he gave me. So I love to serve. I just love what I do. So
All right. So the purpose of me having these beautiful queens on here is because, we're talking about relationships this month. This is February. And February is the month, I call it the month of love and relationships. And I think that, in order for you to be who God has called you to be, you gotta have relationships with people.
Absolutely.
And you have to have coverings. And so I wanted to bring them on here. It was very surprised that I brought them. It was not expecting me to bring them on here. But I think, to kick off the month of love, it's good to have good conversation with people that are genuine. And I know these two here are definitely genuine people that's in my life who I see not just every day, every week. Every week I'm going to see them every week, right? But we understand our responsibility for one another. We've had some deep conversations. We've been there for one another. And so my question to you ladies is, what does it mean to be submissive?
I think for men, what it means to be submissive, in order to first be submissive, you have to be submissive to God first.
Yes.
Always being in alignment, being obedient, knowing your place of where you stand in certain situations, in certain areas. Oftentimes, I think when we hear the word submissive is what you gotta do, what you better do, but to just get better understanding is just being in alignment with God, making sure you're where you need to be with Him first.
This is good.
For me, I think it's being teachable. I think that's one thing that I've learned throughout the years of being around you and you and Dad being in my life. Is making sure that I can be teachable. I know when I first came in, I was hardcore. I wouldn't let nobody in.
So I had that publicly?
Yes, I was hardcore. And I agree with my sister. It's just if you can be submissive to God, you should be able to submit to who He puts you in place in front of as your spiritual parents, who you're covering as your pastor, as your bishop. You have to be submissive to Him first, but He's giving you the leadership, and you have to be submissive to the leadership as well in order to learn. So that's what I think that means to me.
So my question is, of course, these are my spiritual daughters. how did you know that Bishop and I was your covering? Did God come down here himself and said it? Can you tell your part of your story? Because I'm going to tell mine. Just kidding. Okay.
How I knew that the both of you were my covering, I saw you, like I saw you on the social media platforms. It's when I saw you, I said, it's something special about her. What? I don't know. And I was actually at a conference and you were there. And I was like, there she is again. This is not by coincidence. So after that, you just miraculously came into my inbox like, hey, let's have lunch. I was like, she don't know anything about me, but she want to have lunch with me. So, and I ended up inboxing. I said, I'm coming to your church on Sunday. Came to church, enjoyed. The service was phenomenal. It was beyond any place that I had ever been. You know how you're so used to traditional, but it was nothing traditional about being here. Mm-hmm. It was nothing traditional about that. It was the love, the atmosphere, but most of all, it was the freedom. Not knowing people, but they immediately welcomed you in and just wrapped their arms around you, just immediately start to feel love. Mm-hmm. So after coming to the church and coming to the church, after praying and praying, I knew this was where I needed to be. And I needed that covering because so often we try to war by ourselves.
Come on. Come on.
We fight silent battles. Guilty. That was me. Trying to do it all by myself. Got the support, but we oftentimes, we talk about church hurt. It's real, y'all. It's real because you look for those spiritual leaders to go and say, hey, I have this going on. Mm-hmm. And when you go and say, I have this going on, your same conversation that you had is being preached on Sunday morning. Mm. So now you're kind of standoffish, like, I got this going on, but how can I go to them because I don't want this everywhere because I've had that experience before, you know. But now I'm able to lean on my covering because I had to tell myself, Renee, you can't do it alone. Mm-hmm. They're here. And oftentimes you would say, hey, this is not the time to be isolated. Mm-hmm. Because you saw in me the whole time, like, girl, I don't know who you fooling, but I see it, you know. Mm-hmm. But you and Bishop reminded me that we are here to cover you. Mm-hmm. And when you have that spiritual covering, because that's why things kept messing up. Mm-hmm. That's why things not working out. Mm-hmm. That's why they can't get any, because I don't have that covering. Mm-hmm. You have to have that spiritual covering. You have to have, and that's how I knew from the warm embrace, just how you guys took me under your wing, and I immediately knew then that you were my spiritual mom and that you were my spiritual dad. That love, it hits different from any other. It hits different.
And I'll say this, you know, I cannot go to her and say, I'm your spiritual. I think the body of Christ have messed up so bad. It's like you're searching for people to say, I'm your spiritual covering. No, they have to know who you are to them, so they won't mishandle you, and you won't mishandle them. And I think it's important that you know what I'm saying, you be covered. Because if you're not covered, you're uncovered. And your spiritual covering has to live that life. Not just talk about it in the pulpit, not just talk about it when people are around, but what kind of lifestyle are you living to really cover people? Because if you live in any kind of lifestyle, blessings and curses come from the head down. So we have to be intentional with who you connect with. And that spiritual covering should be able to come in to correct you when you're living wrong and when you're doing wrong. Okay, Tequila?
For me, I walked in the room. I came to one of your hurricanes, actually. Okay. Here in Montgomery, I was invited by one of my best friends. Mm-hmm. She was like, hey, come on out. Ticket already paid for, you VIP, come on in the room. I walked in the room and God said, your next assignment is in this room. And I said, what? I don't know nobody here but one person. Well, two people. because I came with my other best friend and my other sister. I was like, I don't know nobody in this room. He said, I said what I said. Your assignment is in this room. Not knowing that my assignment was going to be you.
Right.
I'm looking like, okay, who is she? Where is she? And he specifically said it was a woman. So my sister said, hey, I want you to meet somebody. Tiara said, hey, I want you to meet somebody. I was like, oh, okay, cool. Who am I meeting? I ain't gonna lie, I had green hair at the time.
We ain't gonna talk about this green hair.
Listen, it was muddy green. It was actually the color of your suit, sis.
And I
walked in the room. She looked at me just like that. And Tiara said, hi, Dr. Nikki, I want you to meet my sister Takima. And literally clear as day, God said, there's your little assignment. Wow. And I knew once God showed you to me, I knew my assignment was to be your armor bearer, but I did not know it was going to grow as big as it did. And then you called me one day, you came to Birmingham. I assisted you with some things in Birmingham while you were there. You called me and was like, hey, I want you to be my assistant. I jumped at the chance. I knew that my chance had come to figure out how to succeed in my assignment. Mm-hmm. I knew when I went to my first Stronghold retreat, I was your armor bearer. I was told by Tiara, she was like, you're going to cover her. I knew then once our hands connected, I knew it was a godly connection. It was a warm feeling. I reached my hand out. Most people that you first meet don't grab your hand. You actually said, okay, and you grabbed my hand. And we walked hand in hand out of the room. I knew then. And I think from there, I traveled with you. And you said, hey, come on back to church with me. Mm-hmm. And I said, okay. I think we went back to Destin for something else. We had an event. And we were supposed to wear pink. You helped me pick out my pink. And it just gave me joy seeing how you were helpful to me. And so as I was sitting there, when I came into the church, I felt the welcomeness and the freedom of the church. And God said, you're home. Mm-hmm. But mind you, I hadn't been to church since 2015.
And see, I had not known that. Wow. I did not even know. I honestly didn't know that.
Right. I hadn't been to church. Like even at the family church, my mom would invite me. And my godfather is the pastor of the family church. I ain't gonna go in there. The way they dogged me out when I was pregnant, I'm not gonna do that. I hadn't been to church. I was armor bearer for someone. I was mistreated. Members of the church would walk over me. Nothing would be said. So I was like, oh, okay. I got something y'all. I just ain't gonna come to church. But when I came to church, I felt it. I felt the love. I felt the genuineness. But I knew that you all were gonna be my spiritual parents when you embraced me and I was able to exhale. All that weight, that first hug that you and Dad ever gave me, it fell off. Wow. Welcomed me in the doors. I knew that I was going to be safe.
And I think most spiritual daughters and sons look for a safe place. Definitely. And me and Jeremiah, we're hard. They know. But we hard in love. You know what I'm saying? Like, you gotta love people where they are. And I'm learning that every day. You gotta love people where they are and understand no one is perfect. We're not perfect. We're just filthy rags, guys. You know what I'm saying? But I think the conversations of spiritual covering is so important because so many people overlook the responsibilities. They just like having a lot of people saying, that's my mama, that's my... No, baby, listen. I want the right ones to call me that. Because it sounds good, Renee. Yeah. But is it really what God is telling you? It's a lot of people that's connected to spiritual covering that's not their spiritual covering.
And you have to be able to receive and accept correction without walking with that spirit of offense.
Right.
Always being offended when something is addressed to you. You have to be able to receive it spiritually. So I feel like if you're not in a position to where you can accept correction, especially from your covering and your leaders, you may want to rethink something.
And they might not even be your covering.
That's it.
And I'll say this, just because a person is your pastor, those are not, they might not be your spiritual covering.
Absolutely. And I'll say this too, a lot of people are like, your pastor and your bishop? I said, before, I said, yeah, they're my spiritual parents. I said, but we sat down and had the conversation first. My spiritual mother came to me and said, why do you feel I am your spiritual mother?
Yeah, because I'm asking.
What did God say to you
That's
about
right.
me? When she asked me that question, I knew the answer. I was like, it was to help me grow, to break the wall that I have built. Because I don't let people in. No matter who you are, I'm not about to let you close to me to hurt me. Especially in my past, if I've been hurt. But God told me, let her in. Once you let her in, your dad will follow. And that's what ended up happening.
And that's, I think that's what happened with you though. We learned it before you and Bishop. Not y'all, you and Bishop don't do y'all own stuff. I be like, call your child. He like, Renee. He really does. He really does. And my husband, even with that, because he never had any spiritual children that I know of. And so I think this was even new for him. But because God told him he would be a man of many children, you know, I think he was already built for it. And it just fell together. You know, has it been easy? No, because there's been time I done fussed at both of them. I said, okay, y'all know better, right? But I come to them in love, and they know I have their best interests. And it's not you know, I don't never want to be the kind of spiritual mother where you're afraid to talk to me. That's not godly. I'm not your God.
Right.
No. And I think that's been a problem with some people. You gotta go to her. No, you have to go, because if you don't, then how am I gonna pray for you? How am I gonna cover you if I don't even know what is it I need to be covering you with or for?
And you have to be open. I know one thing that I've learned being with you and Dad, and y'all being my spiritual parents. Y'all always tell me, we're your parents. Be open. And I know when I was growing up, I was open with my mom. So being open with you really wasn't a struggle for me. But with my dad wasn't always around. I had to learn and pray for God to show me how to be open with Bishop.
Because you know what?
Because I didn't know.
Right, because some people, and even with me, you know, I was just talking to God on my way here about, you know, a fatherless child. You know, when you are a fatherless child, your guard is going to be up. You know what I'm saying? And you can have the father right in the household, but if you don't feel the connection, you become fatherless, okay? And so it's important that you understand how to deal with your spiritual father, especially if you never had a real father or never had a father figure that treated you the way you deserve to be treated. So you'll have your guard up by your leaders because of that type of, you know what I'm saying, stigma you have because you was fatherless.
And can we just be authentic?
My God.
I never knew of spiritual parents until I got here.
Oh, wow.
That's serious.
Yeah.
So I knew it was a reason why God led me here. I'm always asking God, you order my steps. I never want to make no steps without even asking for permission or including him in it. So he had that lined up. It didn't exist in my world. You know, it didn't. But I'm glad that I know that I do have genuine people that covers me. Yeah. And to know that when I come to you guys, it's never, well, I don't have time to talk to you, because the door is always open, you know. And like I said, that love hits different.
The one thing I will say about covering, just because a person, you know, say like Renee and Takima, the access that they have to us, everybody doesn't have that access. It's a different type of access, because even though you know us, you can't just walk through those doors like that.
Absolutely.
Right? Their access is different than the access of some people. Yeah. Because of the assignment that we have, and we understand kingdom. Yeah. Because when a person is your covering, you're supposed to have access. You should be able to call them on the phone and not wait no week or two for them to call you back. That's not real. So when I see people, that's my spiritual. No, you better make sure. It might be your mentor.
that's true. Because you can say, like you said, you can say somebody's your spiritual covering, and they're not supposed to be there as that. They're supposed to be your mentor. Something for me that I noticed is when I struggle and when I talk to Dad, it's like I can just open up to you, Ross. I can just open up and just really cry out. And both of your perspective is different from his.
Oh yeah, I'll be playing.
But his is just, I guess because, you know, most of his spiritual kids are girls. He has a different.
Yes, that nurturing.
Different. It's like that. Well, baby girl, I don't think you should do it this way. This is how you should do it. Now with you, it's like,
you know better. Don't play with me.
You know, now don't play with me. Don't out here trying to be fast. Like, it hit different. But the way yours hits, it knocks me back into line. It's like he be trying to tap me over there, but you gonna knock me in there. And if you know,
it's kind of harsh though.
But it's a good thing. It might sound harsh, but you know how you have that one that just needs that kick to the throat.
But see, every child is different. Because I don't do that every day.
No, you don't have to.
I'm more like, hey, how you doing, my baby?
Yes.
But to him was a hard head. Well, that's the word. That's why every day.
And I have to stay on her too.
Thank you, call that.
I do. And I think for me, you and Bishop reminds me so much of my own parents.
Right.
Because my dad is just like him. Like Bishop, he's the type that he does not like to see his kids hurt.
No, he'll cry with you.
Yes, God. So, and my dad is the same way. It's gonna always, because he called me Tay, even though my name is Shantia, but it's always been Tay. And he's like, well, you know, Daddy is here for you. You know, I'm always in. He has that nurturing thing about himself, and I think that's why I just cling to Bishop. Bishop, I just love you. Oh. But I love you too because you remind me so much of my mom. Mm-hmm. You're gonna shoot straight from the head. You're gonna tell me what it is, but you're gonna tell me in love. Yeah. It's gonna be, you know what you're doing. You know what you're supposed to do. You've been raised all your, so you know, like you know. So, and I think that just what just keeps me there. You know, I always tell you, it's just something about being connected to the vine. Mm-hmm. And you and Bishop, you guys are the vine outside of my own parents. So when I'm not with them, you guys are the vine that I'm connected to, you know, to keep me on that straight path. And my sister, she talks about the Strong Her Retreat. I would never, ever forget my very first time at the Strong Her Retreat. Of course, we all been in the world, living in the world, but my life has been transformed ever since I went to that retreat. It's like, yo, this is you know what you're supposed to do now. Mm-hmm. But you're among a lot of other godly women who wants to see you do right and steers you in the right direction.
And that's what you're supposed to be. You know what I'm saying? If you don't see change within your spiritual covering in yourself, then something ain't right. Either it's them or it's you. Or both of y'all. Okay? And I think it's important that you understand that in this new season that God have us in, accountability is everything.
Yes. Yeah, and I say this, I think for me, I've learned about accountability being a part of the church and being a part of the network.
Right.
I've actually built my own family being under the covering. Mm-hmm. Aunties that I didn't have, God sent me aunties. But I'm choosy who I call my auntie and who I call my grandparents because they're attached to you. It makes them my auntie and my grandparents. But I'm very choosy about who I call that. One thing that I did learn is I had to learn my place. I had to learn my place. Being the baby of the bunch, I was always, like she said, she had to stay on me. I'm used to being the big little sister. It took for my older siblings to say, hold up, that's not your place.
And that you have help.
Right.
Because oftentimes you wouldn't ask for help. And I had to pull you aside and say, Takima, look, some of the things that you're trying to carry by yourself, you have a support system now. And that's what it's all about. We have someone covering us, but we also have to cover them. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Oftentimes we try to carry it by ourselves. And I'm guilty of that because I tried it. It doesn't work.
But you know what I love about the spiritual daughters and sons that God has given us There is no competition.
It's all of.
Do you know how many spiritual people deal with competition with their covering?
Yes.
This person don't call me, you know, he with them more than he with me. It's like comparison. And see, that's one thing we pray for, like, Lord, don't let them compare, because I might need to love on Takima a little more than Renee, because Renee might be more mature in her faith. Or I might need to love on Sadie Sanders during this time because she has this going on. I might need to love on Kyresa this time because she has this going on. And she's watching y'all. Hey, Sissy. And so it's all about making sure that you don't look at it as comparison, because you'll end up messing up your own mindset and messing up your relationship, comparing, covering.
And I'll say this, you all, like you said, you don't treat us the same. They take time out to spend time with each one of us.
Mm-hmm.
We all come together as a group when we're together, but I will say that you all make time individually as a mother and a father to pull us in one by one.
If you allow.
To check, right, to check on us. Something that I dealt with, and I'm learning to be like my spiritual mother and be transparent and just tell the truth. I heard that someone was jealous because of the time I got to spend with her. And I said, the time I'm jealous, but I'm working. I had to learn how to wrap my head around on how to change those hats.
Mm-hmm.
Because my hats are so many. I'm
Mm-hmm.
your assistant, I'm your armor bearer, I'm a church member, I'm your spiritual daughter. It hurt for a minute, but God said, why are you upset about it?
Mm-hmm.
Because I placed you there for a reason. So I had to learn to let those type of things roll off my back. Even when I would hear it just amongst or just walking around, like, oh, I have to remember that he put me here for a reason. I tell you all the time, I'm glad that he did, because you opened my life up to so much.
Mm-hmm.
The things that I didn't get to see when I was younger, I get to see them now. I get to see the world. I get to see the finer things of life. So I'm glad that I got to see the bad, and now I'm seeing the good, because if I didn't see the bad, where would I have been?
And you won't be able to appreciate the good.
That's
right. And even when you just said that someone was jealous due to the time you would spend with, sometimes we got to know when to cut it off. Yep.
Mm-hmm. That's good.
We got to know when to put a stop and to a halt to it. But because anybody know me, it's nothing they can come to me and say about my spiritual dad or my spiritual mom.
That's right.
Because I don't ever want you to feel like you're so comfortable that you can do that.
Come on now.
I'll never allow them in that space like that. And you have to be able to have that spirit of discernment to know that everything is not of God, and I gotta move.
Mm-hmm.
You got to be able to have that. You got to be
And
able
even you know, for those who are watching, whoever your spiritual covering is, whoever your pastor is, don't put your mouth on them.
Ooh, that's good.
Don't put your mouth on them, because if they're so important to you, you should be protective over who God has given you, because you can curse your own house, your own life, by putting your mouth on your covering, especially if you know that they have really helped shape you or help change your life. Now, if they're not life-changing people, then you should be connected to them no way.
Absolutely.
I'm just saying, we must be intentional with that. So you're not gonna come and talk to me about Dr. Connie. Baby, listen, I wish you would. Come on through him. Ain't nothing you can say about her to me, because I know who she is to me.
That's right.
So we have to be mindful who we have that covers us. And our job, and I'm a spiritual daughter myself, is to pray for my covering. You gotta pray for your covering, because you don't know what temptation or who's coming at them or who's going against them, what kind of spiritual strongholds is trying to take them down. So just like your covering covers you, you should cover your covering.
And you should also, I'll say this to piggyback off of what you said, you should know your covering.
That's good.
You should know, spiritual parents, bishop, pastor, you should know when something is wrong.
Absolutely.
Whether you're with them or not. I can say honestly, I've called Renee, I've called Dina crying, saying something's wrong. I feel it. She was like, what are you saying? I just feel like Mom, it's going through something. Right then and there, we stop and we pray. Even with Dad, I could be sitting in church I look at Renee, she know. She be like, she'll text me, what's wrong? Dad ain't looking like himself. We need to pray. You got to know your covering. You got to. You got to know when they up. You got to know when they down. I know when you're up at night. Because guess what? I don't sleep. I'm up. And I'm normally in the bed. You know me. I'm normally in the bed.
I'm in the bed by 8 o'clock.
8 o'clock, 9:30. I'm out.
I know she ain't sleep.
But if I'm up at 1 or 2 o'clock in the morning, I know my spiritual's mother, she's up stirring around doing something. But I know that's her time that she warfares. So I know I need to be up and praying.
And that's a daily thing for me. I'm always in prayer for you and Bishop.
Wow.
Always. When I tell you always, because you guys pour out so much in covering us. That takes a lot.
It does.
It's draining. We know it is. So we have to, I'm always in prayer for your strength and for God to grant you peace, because you guys are human too. You go through things just like we do. So you need that strength. You need that push. You need that encouragement. Sometimes all it takes is a simple text to say, hey, have a great day. I love you. You was on my mind. I'm thinking about you. It's the little things that matter.
It is.
It's the little
things. Is. And I'll say one thing about them babies. They gonna text me. Kyle be way up north. She be like, have a good day. Hey, pretty. Hey, beautiful. And I'll be, I'm like, oh. Because she's so far away, but the love is so genuine. You know what I'm saying? You can feel it. You know what I'm saying? I don't have to talk to you guys every day, but you can just feel the love through the airways, because you know when people are bombarding heaven and interceding on your behalf. So even the cover need to be covered.
Yes. And it's like she said, you all pour out. But I've even noticed myself sometimes praying over you and Dad and asking God the strength that I have in my body to give it to you all. Because like she said, y'all pour out so much. Y'all are, and you can tell, but that's some of my prayers sometimes. Give them the strength that I have. I know my strength can be replenished quicker than theirs. Give them mine. You have to also make sure that you're encouraging and praying even when you're not with them. Speaking into the atmosphere so they can just hear it in their ear. It's going to come from God. Just allow God to whisper in their ear. Like I know one of the prayers that I pray for you and Dad is always, God, whisper or send an angel just to whisper in their ear, just to say that you love them.
And I'm going to say this right here as well, just as well as we won't let anyone into our space to mishandle, mistreat, or misuse or say anything negative about our bishop or our first lady. Guess what? We can't do the same. Yeah. We can't go out there and discuss what y'all got going on. We can't do that. Knowing your place, stand in alignment.
This is good.
But also, even with your spiritual sisters and my spiritual brothers, I'm close with them. I inbox them, I text them, but we don't allow, when our parents are not around,
not even each other,
we don't allow each other to put our mouths on each other. When there's a problem, our mother has always said, go and have a conversation. Right. All of us, if it's an issue or we see something wrong, we're going to pull each other together and have that conversation. We also know what goes on in our circle stays in our circle. It shouldn't go outside of the circle.
But that's covenant. And a lot of people don't deal with that word.
Right.
They run from the word covenant. It's like in a relationship with a marriage, you know what I'm saying, husband and wife. You're not going to see her out there blasting out her husband.
Right.
She'll go to her safe place to talk about her issues with her husband, but you ain't gonna see her on Facebook bashing her covenant. You gotta make sure people don't take covenant seriously when they into people.
Because a lot of people really don't even know what it is.
Come on. That's good.
They don't know.
What is your definition of covenant?
My definition of covenant is, when I think of the word covenant, I think of sacred. I think of secret. Something special. Because if you have something sacred, you're not gonna blast it, or you're not gonna hurt it, misuse it, mishandle it.
That's good, right?
Yes. So when I think of the word covenant, it's sacred. I use me and my husband, for example. Our covenant is sacred to me. It's sacred. That is something people will never see. Social media platforms, even in the world. No. If you want to wander, wander. but you'll never know.
Mm.
You'll never know. So when you think of covenant, you think of safekeeping.
Mm-hmm.
For me.
And I think it's important for us to understand about covenant. You know, I even think it need to be a whole panel about covenant, because if you never know what it is, how are you supposed to know what to do with it?
You're not.
It's the mindset.
You're not gonna know. I think for me, I remember Dad saying this one Sunday. We were all in here joking around. People were coming up and joining church. I was raised in the Baptist church. When you turn a certain age, your mama tell you to go get on that pew, you go get on that pew.
Come on now.
I was baptized young. I didn't know what I was doing. I knew that I was going to the Lord and saying, save my soul, save me, because that's what I was taught. Going in the water, you come back up clean. I did not realize what it really meant until my spiritual dad baptized me in Destin.
Me too.
And I came out of the water.
Yes. I knew you was going to say that, because that
was a different feeling.
Yes. And when you're being taught the right way, like the true meaning of being baptized and what it means to come back through the water. Yes. Like when nobody never told us that.
Yes.
They never told us that. You know, so yes, it was a wonderful experience.
It was different
because now you know the meaning of it.
Right.
You know.
But I noticed when he baptized us, and I noticed all of my pictures, even Renee's pictures, he was crying.
Really?
He was crying. Before he took me in the water, he looked at me. He said, "Are you ready?" I said, "Yes, sir. I'm ready this time." And tears started streaming. I've never seen, it's a different love for me for him, because he shows me what a real dad is. I had it in the home with my stepdad, and it brings me to tears, because, and they're happy tears, because he shows me what a man is supposed to be, how a father is supposed to love the daughter and be there. Every milestone that I've ever made in my life since I've met you all have either come and supported me, or when I got home, this is my home. When I'm not in Birmingham, this is my home. You all talk to me and tell me how proud you are. And hearing that from him and hearing that from you, it makes me feel loved.
And that is why it's so easy for me to love you and Bishop, because of the love that I got and still get from Mary Ann and Frank, that I get from my parents. It's so easy to recognize that genuine love prior to saying, I just got you here, baby. I just got you here just for this specific reason. It's not like that. Like, you guys really do show us that you are our covering. You remind us all the time that we never have to do it by ourselves.
And I think a lot of spiritual children struggle with that, because some of them might not have, they have the spiritual mother, father, but some of them feel as if they can't go to them. Or they got them so high that they can't touch them.
Yes. And I think that's one thing about you and Dad. Y'all are not untouchable.
Right.
You all always, like you said, you tell us we have access. Our access is different from everybody else. It was hard at first. Like, I got access. Hold up now. Wait a minute. But once I realized what that access meant, just like you said, covenant, to me, that's private. That's my quiet place. That's where I can go and reveal all of my dirtiness that I hide from the world every day.
And not get judged
about it. It's that we listen, but we don't judge. I can show my dirty self around you and Dad, and I don't have to hide it. And you all tell me how to fix it, how to clean it up. That's, even with God, that was my meaning of coming out of that water. I realized what that covenant meant when you went into the water. You're showing him the nasty so he can make it clean. And when you come out of that water, you're clean.
Walking into the newness.
Yes.
You have to be able to walk in the newness. Because if you go down and you come back up the same way you went down,
baby, you ain't
something is wrong with that picture. Something is wrong with that, because oftentimes it's hard for me to even see how a person can come into church. You know how your heart was when you walked in, but to walk out the same way, not receiving or even getting what you need. It's just amazing how you, and it happens.
Oh, yeah, every day.
It happens. So then you just have to ask yourself, what is the main person? Why was I there? Why am I here? You have to be teachable. You have to be able to get everything. I come expecting everything, getting everything that God has for me. But you have to have that mindset. If you never shift your mindset, it won't change.
And that's what it's all about. But I gotta be honest. It's a whole process.
It is.
But I'm always gonna say this. But the question is, how bad do you want it?
Yes.
How bad do you want deliverance? How bad do you want to be a better person? How bad do you want to know that I got people connected to me that can help me tap into the purpose and the destiny that God has given me? How bad do you want it? Are you teachable? Can you be corrected? Do you walk with the spirit of offense? Because she'll tell you, let me tell you something. Takima had,
She called me on it all the time.
I call her on it.
Are you offended?
Takima, am I feeling offense?
And I've learned to say, yes, ma'am. And she'll be like, okay, let's talk about it.
Let's deal with this.
We could be in the middle of the work day and she might say something, and the normal me, I'd be like, well, I can't do it your way. I need to do it my way. But she's like, ta-ta. And we stop right then. She said, take a breath. And we have a conversation.
Or I'll say, slow down.
Mm-hmm. And one thing I can say about especially you, and I've learned to allow it, is to let your covering allow them to prophesy into your life. Everything that this lady has ever told me from day one when she prophesied to me, it has come to pass. Allow your covering to prophesy. Listen and pour, yes, and pour into you, and listen and heed it. Because everything that she's ever said, it has come. My sister circle is bigger, it's better, and I love it.
And it's godly.
Yes. Yes.
It's godly.
Yes.
That's a difference.
Yes.
Because you can have a big circle and they be full of hellions.
And I have learned to remove myself. And then when you just see people falling off, just keep going. Let them fall. It's a reason. It's a reason. Because when God take you places everybody can't go, and that's gonna be the point, right? Yeah, when God take you places, everybody cannot go. And like I said, you have to know the moment where you need to cut it. Yep. And then as well as with your spiritual covering, you got to be able to trust them.
Who does trust? Well, I'm gonna say it's not trust them, but trust the God in them. Yes. We gotta say that.
Gotta trust the God in them.
Because a lot of people trust people too much.
That's it.
And they become an idol.
Right.
Come on, somebody.
Right.
And so this ain't the season to idolize nobody but Jesus, baby. Hello?
That's it.
So trust the God in that covering.
Right.
And my husband always say, the moment I'm inaccurate or I'm not doing what God told you I should be doing, leave. He say that.
Oh yeah, he says that.
He says that. He said, when I gotta get out of the point where I'm not doing God's will, then I should be covering you. Then you need to go somewhere where you know God is sending you so you can be effective for the body of Christ. Dust your feet off and keep moving.
Even when you sit in church, you should know the God in that person. Oh, yeah. Especially your pastor, your covering.
That's right.
If you sitting in the chair and you ain't doing nothing but this, or you up and down to the back, it's something. That's your discernment telling you like, no, something ain't right. Let's move on. One thing I can say I love about Destiny Word, we are allowed to be ourselves. We are allowed to worship the way we want to and be free. Right. We don't need the big sparkling lights and the music playing in the background. We can cut all that off. We've been in here after service where we done had a good word and bishop and pastor done preach their hearts out and literally go back in. And everybody is laid out on the floor because God has come and rested in the room. When you know that God is in this place and God is in them, when you can still just come and sit peacefully
Yes.
in the sanctuary, and God will come and visit you.
I think it's a lifestyle. That's what I'll say.
It's definitely
Yes.
a lifestyle.
Your lifestyle should add up to what you say. You know what I'm saying? So every day, you know, I can't speak for Bishop because he's not here. But every day, what I'm trying to do is make sure I live the life I talk about. And it's a process. Listen, it's a process of constantly, daily checking myself and saying, you know, God, I'm responsible for people. When you are on spiritual covering, you are responsible for souls. So how you eat, sleep, breathe, go, whatever you do, you are responsible for souls. And I think that's very important.
Yes.
Very important. Okay, I will read this poem because I'm like intrigued.
Me too. Look, I'm ready.
It's not written. I just think, and it comes out. Have you ever been in a place where it was hard for you to grow? But just know when God take you places, everybody can't go. Life is filled with ups and downs, sometimes bends and curves. Even though sometimes as you walk and you have people getting on your nerves, you stop and you thank God for the things that you should know. But just know when God take you places, everybody can't go.
Come on now.
And she came with that when?
Just now.
That's what's
Now.
going on.
It's natural. It's
Incredible gifts.
natural.
That's
Incredible gifts. Every time she speaks, I be like, oh my, I be at awe. You know, because you know it ain't nobody but God, because she wasn't even expecting me to even call her out like that, which she should have known. Because I'm going to always, my assignment is to help people who have gifts to help them birth it out. I'm a midwife. And when you know you're a midwife, you know your job. How many are listening to me right now and you know you're a midwife? Put in the chat, I'm a midwife. I am here to help people to see what God sees in them and help them with strategies on how to manifest that thing, okay? And so listen, we're drawing this room to this show to a close in about 3 minutes. Give me a 30-second takeaway that you can help someone.
If you have that spiritual covering and you know that's your spiritual covering, trust the God in them and let them do what they need to do to support you. Never be afraid to go to them and talk to them because they are your covering for a reason. And you have to find out what that reason is.
Okay. Takima.
Let your covering that God has placed in your life see the bad, the good, and the ugly. Don't try to hide the bad and the ugly and show nothing but the good. Allow them in to clean you up so you can show all of it to them, because they can't help you unless you show the bad, the good, and the ugly.
This is good. Until next week, guys, listen. Go and share this live. Tag some people to the live. Whoever tagged the most people will be giving some giveaways. Shout out to Dr. Joe. I think Dr. Joe won last time. Okay, we got to send Dr. Joe her gift. Andrea Harris won. We got her gift right. She got her stuff. Okay, awesome. And so go ahead and take a moment. We're going to count this up, and Grace will let us know exactly who have won this week. I'm super duper excited to have my babies on the set with me tonight. Even though they was very nervous, it was just a conversation.
Very nervous.
Oh my God, it was a conversation.
Absolutely.
And y'all did so good. I'm so proud of you. Is this your first interview?
Well, we did the talk show with Miss Sandy.
Okay,
We
good.
did the book, and also the other talk show.
Okay.
We did, but like just this is it.
Okay, first time on set.
Yeah.
Okay.
I did the talk show, the Herpreneur talk show with Coach Angela House.
So that was virtual, but
So
on
that
set.
was virtual, but on set,
First time.
This is my first time.
To many shows. To many shows around the world.
We received it.
In Jesus' name. Well, until next time, guys, we love y'all so much. Stay tuned. The best is yet to come. Y'all be blessed. Bye, y'all.